Well, as you know, many people, perhaps a lot of our viewers at this time, use LinkedIn to find a new career, to bring in new clients, to grow within their business, whether they be self-employed or not. And my next guest says that there's a distinction between using emotional intelligence and regular intelligence to achieve your goals on LinkedIn. In other words, EQ versus IQ. Let's welcome the president and founder of JF3 Associates, Joseph Frankie. Joseph, good to have you with us.
Hey, it's great to be here, Rick. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, LinkedIn is a tool that a lot of people use. Obviously, I don't know what the total numbers are, but it's significant. Uh, the Facebook of business, if you will, and of job searching. So, what about emotional intelligence versus regular intelligence on LinkedIn?
Well, thanks, because I think that's an important distinction. With a resume, I mean, it's a black and white snapshot of who you are and what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
And your resume is a direct response to a position specification or job description, meaning that every resume is a unique construct based on, hey, this is what we want to know, and this is your opportunity to take 2 to 3 pages to answer the mail. What LinkedIn provides is everything that you be, know, do. Okay, so uh, with emotional intelligence, you don't have the ability to convey that on a resume. It's almost all about your IQ. Hey, what experience do you have? How long have you got this experience? I mean, they're direct responses to the needs of the particular client that's, requesting the information. But LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to talk about your volunteering. I mean, what do you do? How do you give back? What are the organizations you belong to? What are the publications and magazine articles, have you published? And so it is a way to allow you to tell story after story that you can solve problems.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it allows you to personalize uh, your official background. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah, so I mean, LinkedIn is probably the best business intelligence tool on the planet.
Hmm.
Every second, two people join LinkedIn, so they're at 1 million every 13 to
Wow.
14 days.
Wow.
So uh, once you learn how to use it in depth, it's a really great business intelligence tool. And
How,
one of the big challenges that we have out there is um, people want to, use it, but they won't learn how to use it, crawl, walk, run. Sometimes we want to run without knowing how to crawl or walk, and, it leads to a disaster.
well, give us an idea of A, how it could lead to a disaster on LinkedIn, and B, uh, what you could be doing to run once you get past the crawl and walk phase.
Well, I mean, first of all, I think one should concentrate on building a LinkedIn profile. Okay. And all you have to do in order to be on LinkedIn is put your name and this is the job title that I have. I mean, that gets you there. That's, I mean, absolutely, birth, crawling. And so what LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to do is it issues you a bleached white skeleton of yourself. And then it gives you the opportunity to put muscle, ligaments, and tendons all over this body. And so what you see a lot of people is they, have about a half composed body. And, it's really a great tool to really say, okay, this is what I bring to the table. This is what I bring to the table, in my education, my courses, here's the patents, I've contributed on. Here's the projects that I've worked on at work. Here's the list of other people that work with me on these projects. So you can tell story after story after story that you're a contributor and solve problems. And the challenge we have today is once you get over 40, nobody's chasing you for, your skills and everything. You got to be able to sell that you're a leader, you can put a team together and you can solve problems.
How careful should you? Careful is not the right word, but
Hmm.
let me elaborate. I know, in my own personal experience, I posted on LinkedIn recently that I knew Charlie Kirk, and who, of course, was just assassinated.
Right?
And, I mentioned, regardless of one's political views, this is not a political post at all. But, my heart goes out to he and his family, and I was impressed with what he built as a young age. And I got negative responses from people in messaging saying, I'm not going to be following you anymore. On the one hand, that's that emotional quotient, if you will.
Right?
And on the other hand, it was seen as being too polarizing by some. Your thoughts on how to approach that sort of situation?
Well, it's unfortunate that, a person's life is taken in a young age and it would be polarizing in any shape or form because I wouldn't wish my worst enemy
Yeah.
that situation. I mean, this is a country of rule of law. And if we think somebody's done something wrong, there's a whole process to go through that. And, the Constitution guarantees us, a trial and by jury, right? If somebody's really out there. But in using LinkedIn, we're talking about, okay, I belong to the teacher parent association. Well, I mean, there's a story about, how you contributed to your school. In volunteering, you have up to 2,000 characters. In your education, you have 1,000 characters to give a description. Okay, if you just list, hey, I went to X college, I got a degree. Well, okay. Well, did you work while you went to college? Did you, what is the other things? Because I do executive search and I get tasked by people that I want somebody that worked their way through college. I mean, that's a task given to me, so I've got to find them. So if you don't have it on LinkedIn, it's not like I'm going to get out the, the old yellow pages, if we want to use that example, and just start calling everybody and say, "Hey, did you work while you were going to college?" So it's up to the individual to, hey, lay it out there. I mean, some people say, I want to be very private. I said, well, that's fine. Just don't expect any calls.
Mm. Hmm. Does it matter if you put in a background that may label you as uh, of social views or not?
Well, I like you have political views and I avoid those views on LinkedIn.
Okay.
The fact that somebody was assassinated and somebody's going to be polarized by that, by you're sad for his family and young children that are not going to be without a father, and the worst murder in the world, I would still say you're supposed to have due process, and I'd still be sad for the children that would be left behind if that person got the death penalty. I mean, it's just that's that's the way it is. But if you stay apolitical, we're just talking about, hey, how do you make contributions to your community?
Yeah.
How do you support your how do
Yeah.
you support your kids? Uh, you know, you were a lacrosse coach, you were a soccer coach, you're a soccer mom, all those kind of things that you support children going up. People want to know that. If you took a career break, why did you take a career break? I mean, there's an emotional story and a decision behind that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was just curious. I was, again, I was trying not to be political at all on that post, but I thought get your expert opinion. And what you're saying totally makes sense. You want to be the soccer mom or the soccer dad or what have you, and not
Like, for example, I've been using LinkedIn for 21 years and been coaching on it for 20.
Wow, I didn't know.
And one of the things that amazes me is, when somebody, I'll give you two examples. I've had two CEOs in the last 10 years contact me at different times. And I said, "Hey, how did you find me?" And they said, "Well, you're a blood donor." And I'm thinking, okay, you're going to hire me to give blood or something? I just didn't know where this was going. And he said, "Well, I've decided I'm going to do business with blood donors.
Hmm.
And I have a child that requires frequent blood transfusions based on some disease. But the only way he would have found me is if I put it in the volunteer section that I'm a blood donor. Now, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But what I learned from that was every time I give blood, I put the date that I went there, who called me, what they were wanting, all those kind of things. And that occurred to me twice over 10 years. And I thought, well, okay, this is very powerful. This is something you don't normally think
No.
about. It's a different way of people. And then the second thing is, people will call and say, "Joe, I played offensive center in high school. Joe, I did poetry interpretation in high school. Believe it or not, Joe, I did slide rule competition way back when we had slide rules." So my point is, they went to my high school education where I put some descriptions of what I did in high school in there. And what it told me is that people want to find some way to break the ice with you.
Hmm.
So that's why I say the descriptions of what you did in college and high school, you have no idea where that's going.
Very, very insightful. All right, Joe Frankie, we really appreciate you joining us. Look forward to having you back. Any final comments?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me, Rick. I really appreciate it. And I've written a book on how to use LinkedIn to get what you want. It's called LinkedIn, the 5-minute drill for executive networking success. And it's a 1-hour read.
Wow, that sounds great. All right, Joe Frankie, president, founder of JF3 and Associates. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Back with more after this.